Well, happy morning, algebra students. We're going to be looking at our last lesson for this chapter of inequalities. We're going to be solving absolute value inequalities. So we remember when we did absolute value, we know that it is the distance from zero, right? The distance from zero. So we know it could be 6 to the right of 0 and 6 to the left of 0. But with inequalities, we know that if it's a negative, if we multiply 6 by a -1, then we know that we have to flip the sign, right? So when we do our two inequalities here, we need to, for absolute value, when we do the negative version, we have to flip and switch. Flip and switch. Now we can solve our 2. And we can graph them. Now here's another little hint as well. We can see that this says it's less than, so we know this will be a less than, but first I'm going to flip and switch to do the negative version and the positive version. I'm going to go ahead and solve these. Adding 4 to both sides and dividing by 2. Adding 4 to both sides and dividing by 2. And when I graph it, I can see that it's going to be an and situation because the very first beginning was a less than. So remember, if it is great or, then it's an or. And if it's a less than, it is an and. So we want to isolate our absolute value first. On this one, I'm going to divide off the 2 first before I do anything. I also see that this is a less than situation. So ultimately, I should get a less than, or the ones that are pointing towards each other. Now I'm going to do the positive and negative version. I need to do a flip and switch. And then just the positive, subtracting 1 from each one. And when I graph it, I should see that it is an and situation. And it is. Again, isolate the absolute value. So I add 11 to both sides. Then I have to do my flip and switch, but notice I see that it says great or. So I know it's going to be an or right here. I already know that. Flip and switch, then the regular, and I solve. And you can really see it when you graph it. But they're an or situation. Alrighty, let's have you guys try this one. Go ahead and pause the video here and see how you do. It's going to be a great or then, and the next one's going to be a less than. Alrighty, we're going to practice the skill 1 through 19, and then we're going to do the study guide for our test next class period. Okay, have a great day.